Hey everyone. Today I want to talk about finding the shot and how I scout new locations for photography. So I'll start with why this matters. So people often ask me how I find the spots I photograph. Is it luck? Do I know someone with secret access? Honestly, it's a mix of experience, tools, curiosity, and a willingness to explore. What I've learned is finding new locations isn't always about distance, it's about attention. So a little bit of local wandering. Some of my best finds happen to be on a drive I've done dozens or more times. But one day the light just hits right or the fog settles in. I see it completely different. A funny one is Don's Palette, Barn by the Stream. I've probably passed by that barn hundreds of times. I didn't even know it existed. And Christina just pointed out, hey, did you know that there's a white barn over there? And I was like, nope. And that's one of the places I've been to numerous times. So I've learned to leave room also in my schedule just to wander, whether it's turning down a dirt road or pulling over at sunrise or getting out early uh, before sunset. And then I often shoot right away if something calls to me, especially if I know I might not pass that way again, or if the conditions are ideal. Or sometimes I'll just pin it to come back later. So tools that helped me scout smarter. So Google Maps and satellite view. I'll scan for curves and rivers, tree lines, rock formations, lone buildings, anything that kind of catch my eye. I use photo pills. This app helps me predict where the sun is going to rise or the moon is going to rise or set, both of them. Also gives me the Milky Way. I use all kinds of different weather apps for storms, fog, snow. The mood of a photo often comes from weather, so I keep my eye on forecast, cloud cover, and wind. I'll also use off-grid trails. I use stuff for hiking as well, and also Instagram geotags for inspiration. And I try not to go to the overly used trendy spots, but going to the national parks, I shoot quite a bit in there, so kind of have to do that. So, and then serendipity and some community tips. So some of my favorite spots were recommended by someone at an art fair or even a conversation at the grocery store, wherever. And I try to open up to detours. If I see a ridge that looks interesting while driving, I'll follow it, go down little rabbit holes, dirt roads, you name it. And then I always have a camera with me just in case something calls out. And then so if I can return, I can, and making the most of the moments when I can't. So sometimes I have the luxury of returning to a spot like Don's Palette, which I talked about, which took 4 tries before the light and the sky really came together that I liked. It was a long exposure, really smoothed out the water on the S curve in the in the creek. And then other times like going to Scotland, Ireland, I only have one chance. I've done a lot of research. I know what I want to shoot. Scotland, Christina and I wrote down 127 different locations I wanted to photograph. There was no way to do them all, but I wanted to write down where those were. So some of the conditions were great. Some of the conditions weren't perfect, but I'm prepared to shoot the first time and go from there. Sometimes those apps can't predict everything, especially in remote or rugged locations. So it's all about being ready for whatever unfolds. And everybody knows about the weather. it's really a crapshoot on the forecast. So, what makes a place worth photographing? It's not just about the beauty; it's about the mood. I look for scenes that make me feel something, peace, nostalgia, awe, and I try to find places that invite stillness or wonder. Places where the story already lives. I just have to listen. I just have to listen with the lens. So those are the ones that typically stick out with people as well. Um, and then just my wrap up reflection. So scouting has taught me to slow down. The camera helps me see, but it's really presence that makes the difference. Beauty is out there, but it rarely yells. It waits for you to notice. And I'd also like to give a shout out to other photographers that I've gone out on trips with, and they've showed me places to shoot, and also vice versa, or anybody that's given me any advice on that. Whether, hey, you should come here. This is pretty, you name it. So big shout out to everybody that's helped me out on this journey, and big shout out to also Christina, where she'll go on and do some research, and while I'm driving, and we'll take a back road. Another one was on a recent trip a couple of weeks ago was to Utah, and um, been to Vernal, Utah so many times before, and never even knew about this arch, and Christina found it, and it's called Moonshine Arch. It's not too far out of town, and we took the grandsons up, and Allie and Bella are pups, and did a hike, and took some photos up there, and um, going to that part of Utah 20 years I never knew. So um, but yeah. And so I'd like to ask you, do you have a favorite hidden place, somewhere that brings you peace or sparks wonder? I'd love for you to share it in your comments. And if you're now inspired to go scouting, I'd like to know that too. And we will talk to you later. Thank you.